Okay, I'm going to jump in here and start a new lesson. One of my students, Stephen Kotkosky, sorry about the name. Um, he's obviously a very strong, athletic young man, and can already throw quite well. But we're really going to have to go over this same ground that I've gone over so many times recently. It seems to be almost like a universal thing that I'm seeing, that people, I guess that the emphasis on pulling the disc, going all the way back into my videos, you can see that I've tried to define the difference between pulling and pro form, and I actually did a video on it that said that pulling destroys pro form, and I just keep coming back to this. Most of my good players have some form of this type of throw, and you can throw like that. There are lots of pros who have some type of a similar type throw, but I do not believe that's what the top players do, and I think I've been pretty consistent in showing that fact. So let's look at his throw here. You can see he's a good player. Okay. So I'm hoping that my students will start to see the telltale signs. What I see immediately in full speed is his entire throw is essentially over his front leg. There's a lot of pros who do throw like that. There's very little, if no, buildup on the rear leg, and it's really more of a move to the front leg and spin over the front leg. So it is a type of spin, but it is a front leg spin. And also, here's one thing to look for, and it keeps popping up. There will be a point in time where both of his feet will be flat on the ground. There you go. Both feet are flat on the ground. The left side should have already started initiating. Now the next thing you're going to see is, and I've described this multiple times in videos, is watch his right ear. Here we go, getting ready. And go back one frame. And so his head's nice and level. Boom. Drops the right ear. Head goes forward. Now he's in the pull position. Now he's pulling. And he's going to initiate. There's no actual lower body ahead of the upper body because it's a pull. It's more like you're pulling a heavy weight. So that way you can't really lead with your lower body because you're quote unquote bracing to pull. In doing so, you can see first thing that happens is his upper body fires. His lower body is literally dragging. He is now stuck, for the lack of a better term. His upper body is firing around, and his lower body is just dragging like dead weight. And now he starts to get up on his front leg, and the hip is starting to close. You can see his shoulder is already open, and his hips are barely even reach back to parallel. So his shoulders are way in front of his lower body, and he is dragging this foot. It didn't fire the knee. It didn't come in. This hip didn't fire ahead of his shoulders. He's actually dragging the weight of this back leg as he attempts to get up on this front leg. And I can tell you, as an old man who threw like this for a while, for a long time, this will tear your back up eventually. I'm just saying. This is not a good position to be in. This is a strenuous, straining position, even though in full speed it appears athletic. He does get into an amazing tuck. Look at his wrist, how it's curled. It's nice and level. There's so many great things, but his spine is tilted forward. He's trying to get over this leg, and his back leg is actually moving backwards now. See right there, I mean, it's just stuck. It's not doing anything. And we go here. It's not actually firing. It never went this way. It's actually, now it's going to go backwards. Backwards. There you go. And it never, you can see his shoulders are way up here and his hips are way back here. So he never really faced the disc because he pulled it. And despite rumors to the contrary, pulling the disc is not an athletic move, in my opinion. And I think if I keep doing these analysis, I'm hoping people are starting to see what I'm trying to show them. Okay, and so his leg comes up, and now it's going to flop over. And you can see his hips are dragging way behind his shoulders. But let's just go back to this position. This is the telltale position. I mean, all of this really. Look how extended out he is. He's like right there. Does get a nice extension out from his chest, but see how he's just kind of all stretched out. He's not compacted in on himself. He's not compressed. He's dragging the trailing side. There's no other term for it. But this one right here, I mean, that's just these positions. That's a pull. That's a huge pull. And I'm sorry, that position is just not athletic. This is it's just not. Anyway, he's a good player. Obviously can play like this. Not saying you can't. I'm just saying that's not what I teach. I would unteach this, and how I would unteach it is the spin and throw method. And we would have to get away from the notion of a pull and the throwing of the spine forward. Here, spine forward. He's having to get his head forward so he can pull. All right, I'm going to end it there. Join my Patreon. You can get a lesson. I think they're pretty good. And tell your friends about spin and throw, and let me know what you think. Thank you very much.